what other depressing news do we have? Oh, look, the Destiny 3 is in development.
Oh, guys, come on, man. Where's the excitement for Destiny 3?
There is no
Um,
excitement.
There is none. What are
no,
you talking about?
I'm still hopeful. So basically, yeah.
Happy December, guys.
Fuck.
Oh
Did
man.
anybody even has anyone seen November? Because I could have sworn
It just
as a society in general, I think we skipped over November.
It
Oh
really
man, I
does
feel like,
feel like it just kind of flew by, though.
Dude,
yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know
at
where the
least
fuck I went.
we at least we got to spend a week or so Taz in the sun in the south of the equator.
Yeah, Taz, you were
I
in Mexico.
mean,
Jazz, where'd you go again?
Argentina.
Right.
you might have had fun in the sun. All I was doing was basically parenting in Mexico, featuring unlimited margaritas.
Well, that doesn't sound terrible.
Doesn't that make it easier?
Yeah.
It depends on how functional you need to be as a parent, and unfortunately, nah, it was cool. It was cool.
No, if Debbie gets a little rowdy, you
Yeah,
just give her a little bit of sip of the margarita and it calms her down, right?
took a day or two to get used to the whole spiel of traveling with a baby, but overall, I would say aside from the actual travel by plane, it was a success.
Would you? I mean, would you now feel comfortable taking your baby like on like traveling, or is it still like vacation destinations?
No, I can take it traveling. I think the barrier is mainly the travel time.
Hmm.
Oh,
In
dude,
this
yeah, it's
case,
long.
dude, on the way there, we had
How
timed
long did it take
everything.
you?
It was
Because
only like a 3 hour and a bit flight that felt
what?
like an eternity. Because I mean, we initially had
Wait,
timed what
where did you go?
Cancun.
Cancun. Okay, well, I guess I don't know where Cancun is because I thought it was
I'm
like 10
curious
hours.
though. How was
Well,
how
it
was
helps.
Desi on the plane?
She was okay. She did
Okay.
not want to sleep, at least not on the way there. There was
Oh,
like
that's why.
it was like a bit too it was a bit too much stimulation for her to sleep. But then if we
Mm.
just sat there, then it was too boring. So I just took shifts with my wife, essentially standing near the bathrooms and just sort of holding her. But at least she wasn't throwing a fit, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
Uh,
good. Yeah.
Maybe if the flight wasn't delayed 4 hours getting there, then we might have had her nap. But who knows?
Wait, so your flight was delayed going there, but then it was also delayed coming back.
Yeah,
God, that's
we got to the
Gotta love
Cancun
Air
airport,
Canada.
dude. We got to the Cancun airport, and fuck that place. Just every last fucking molecule of that place, fuck it. It is the worst place I have ever set foot in, I think, like bar none. It's just the atmosphere, it's so fucking loud. That place is made for half the amount of people that currently apparently go through it on any given day. You can't hear shit. If they're announcing something, you're not going to hear a word ever. Period. Like they may not even have they might as well not even have announcements because you're not going to hear or understand a word. Um, 13 bucks for a bottle of water is what I paid. Insane. Like I get that you're traveling, they're gonna fleece you, fine, but just oh my god, dude. But then yeah, we get there, we go through security, we get a notification, your flight's delayed half an hour. All right, well, cool. What else is new? I guess go board the plane. As we get seated and we're trying to get my daughter to kind of just chill and maybe hopefully nap, uh, pilot announces, okay, so we're doing some maintenance. We're not quite done. It's going to be another half hour. Fine. So we're still waiting. 45 minutes after that, pilot announces, okay, so this is actually taking us longer than anticipated. It's going to be another 45 minutes. So then for another 45 minutes, to about maybe like an hour, we're sitting there. And again, just taking shifts, trying to get her to sleep. At this point, like she hasn't napped all day. She's exhausted, but she's also not sleeping because there's too much going on the plane. It's bright, it's loud. So an hour after, the pilot's like, all right, everybody off the plane. We deboard the plane and we're just there in the airport. No indication of what's happening. They make some sort of announcement. We don't hear anything because obviously there's just so much noise. We don't have our stroller because it's on the plane, so we're trying to get that back. we have our diaper bag, but then we're running out of diapers because the majority of them are on the fucking plane.
It's really like
And we're just
undoing
like,
the vacation part of your trip, isn't it?
kinda, yeah. Honestly, any relaxation built in my body in the week it disappeared the moment I stepped foot in the airport on the way back. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Jazz, hopefully you had a better experience for your work trip.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't realize how
how's your
far
ass?
Argentina was. Good, but Taz. Okay, so I don't know why I thought that
Should there be a
Mexico.
context explanation to that? Like,
Well, I
how's your ass?
He'll get to it.
well, okay. First of all, I was gonna say number one is I didn't realize that
No,
Mexico
number
and
two was the problem.
Argentina. Yeah, Mexico and Argentina were so far away because I had a 13-hour flight, and then
I could have
I had
sworn that Argentina was like underneath Mexico or something.
no, but like
My
Argentina is
geography is
like
like off, but
all the way. It's like South America, like Argentina is like all the way at the bottom. And so that explains. So it takes me the exact same time to go from Montreal to Tokyo than it does from Montreal to Argentina,
But that
essentially.
Tokyo trip would have been much
Yeah.
better.
why
Basically,
Argentina?
because they have an office there.
Oh, the work
And,
thing.
yeah, it's a work thing. Yeah, it's a work thing. And I thankfully got a lot of work done so that Thursday and Friday I was able to just kind of roam around. And unfortunately, Friday I wake up and I got the shits. So I just I had to stay in the hotel. And I was getting Mexican. I was gonna say South American Pepto Bismol saved me honestly on the plane.
But yeah, I was surprised you
Was
were
it called
fully
something different
functioning.
there?
I think it was called like Bismuto or something like that. But yeah,
El Pepto Bismol.
I was surprised, Jazz, you were fully functioning when you landed in Montreal because we had like an event afterwards, and you showed up and you were perfectly fine.
yeah, I had to show up. But yeah, essentially it was fine. And then I slept like 14 hours the next day, so that felt nice.
Must be nice to be able to sleep 14 hours.
I slept like 30 minutes on the plane, man.
I mean, Taz, you too could sleep for 14 hours. You can just choose to ignore some of your responsibilities.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, he's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, come on, man.
you have the freedom of choice.
I pray you have a child one day.
I pray we get through this episode of Not Quite High Score.
Episode 17.
Like, guys, come on, man. There's nothing to work with.
Hey.
What?
How are the sound levels, by the way?
No one's listening. No one sent me a goddamn email.
That is
So,
true.
yeah.
And you know what? That's probably not going to change after
The
this
only
episode.
the only person that sends us emails is Zencaster. That's just the bills. Should-
That's not
We
wrong.
should feature them on an episode.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about the RAM prices soaring. I'm going to be talking about AI in gaming again, talking about the leak of Destiny 3 being, well, reportedly in development, as well as some trading card news and some Prince of Persia leaks as well. So, as usual, guys, what are we playing?
Taz,
Wants
did you
to
talk about
start.
the Taz? Did you talk about the Outer Worlds in a past episode?
I think I did. I just kind of
Okay.
talked about how I wasn't into it, but that's probably just a more of a me thing than a Outer Worlds 2 thing. But I see you've been playing it, so I'm curious to see how you're doing with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can start with the Outer Worlds 2. I really enjoyed the first game, and I know that most of us played that game, and I'm enjoying the sequel. But I think Taz, I think you are completely right. I feel like I'm just kind of going through the motions.
What are you guys laughing at?
I don't know.
I have
I think the way you said two made me laugh. Like two.
Okay. Some fucking 6 7 bullshit going on.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Continue.
please go ahead. We're sorry. We're idiots.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say that it feels like it definitely takes longer to pick up and truly get into. So I feel like early on in the game, it kind of feels a little sluggish, and like everything is kind of presented with a
Wait,
series
hold
of
on. They're about to crack. Just say 2 again. Jesus Christ.
Outer Worlds 2.
I'm good. I just see this idiot in my corner
You're
laughing.
clearly,
I'm just making myself laugh.
you're pretty far from good.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Please
This
do
reminds
continue.
me. This reminds me of when Taz and I cracked when we talked about Wii Fit being a JRPG. Anyways,
That is
no,
really not quite high score lore.
Yeah, no, seriously. But no, honestly, like I think I share the same sentiment as Taz. I think it's just I don't know what it is about the second game. Like maybe it's just a me thing as well. But I'm having a little bit of trouble, really getting into it. But I know it's an Obsidian game. I know it's a great game, so I'm just kind of waiting for the payoff, essentially.
What did he say that's weird now, man? Are you guys fucking? Are you on edibles right now? Like, what's going on?
Don't worry
Manu,
about
I
it.
was good.
I
I
don't
was
know.
good. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know what happened.
I know Deep might be on an edible. I don't know what the fuck Manu's on.
I just had a brownie.
He's
So
high
maybe
on
there's
life,
something in there.
man.
Manu's fucking
Oh,
Oh
stoned
man,
on
I was
Flintstones
fine.
vitamins or something.
I saw Manu laughing again.
I'm just gonna look down. So please continue.
All right.
It's just like your everyday life, looking down
Ser-
constantly, afraid to make eye contact.
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll just quickly go to the next game, Silent Hill F. So
Mm.
started playing that game. I got the Legion Go, so I figured since I'm going to be on a long plane ride, might as well play a game like Silent Hill. So that okay. So again, it's funny
What was
because
scarier, just out of curiosity, Silent Hill or the shits on the airplane?
oh, definitely.
Uh,
I was very happy to be sitting close to a bathroom. Let me just put it that way. But it's interesting because it's funny because I'm talking about both of these games and it's a mixed bag because it's primarily because of how differently these games handle the opening hours. Again, Outer Worlds 2 having trouble picking it up. Silent Hill on the other hand, that game just kind of throws you into it and it's so fun. It's like a stark contrast in pacing and atmosphere and again, like it's a game set in like 1960s Japan. Think of any horror movie that you've seen, that's like set, within the same, Japanese mythology, traditionalism and identity. And the game really like, hits the nail and it is a shift because I don't know if you guys have played other Silent Hill games or just zero, but unlike older Silent Hill games, which really focus on like the puzzle solving and avoiding combat and actually survival, this game actually has a heavier focus on combat. So you have to manage stamina in this game. Weapons can break, due to durability. Mounts and the monster encounters are much more aggressive and they're more frequent. So that was like a definite shift. And I've only played only one other Silent Hill game, so it didn't really bother me. But I think it's kind of like left the fan base a little divided as to like why they would make that shift. But to me, honestly, like so far, like the sound design in particular is phenomenal. I play the game with headphones on and it scares the shit out of me. Um,
I have to
and
ask, like, because okay, I don't know much about Silent Hill, so I'll
Mhm.
just stay it out there first. Because I'm thinking kind of more like Resident Evil games where there's guns and stuff. So, like, what kind of weapons would you have that tend to break in this?
I mean, and you can think of like maybe just like a metal pipe or like a rod or
Oh,
anything like that. And like, so those
yeah.
things will kind of break over time. And, I haven't really gotten any guns. I don't think that there are, I mean, 1960s Japan, I'm assuming, yes, there was firearm, but,
I
I
don't
haven't
think
kind
that
of,
I've seen a lot of gameplay. This isn't that type of game. This isn't really
I don't think
comparable to
so.
like
Okay.
a Resident
Yeah.
Evil game. There's more emphasis on
Yeah.
story and horror, I think.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. So I mean, it stays true to the Silent Hill series in the sense that again, there's a focus on story and horror, but the big shift in this game, as I mentioned, is like there is a heavier focus on the combat. And another thing that I was actually reading about this game, since I haven't finished it, is the narrative twist in this game. And what I mean by that is that they took kind of a risk with the narrative structure. So to truly piece together like the full story and the lore, you're almost forced to do multiple playthroughs of the game. So like cuz as you play throughout the game, like you'll get new documents, you'll get new dialogue that's going to open up, and even like the puzzle solutions change based on your playthrough when you play New Game Plus. And so the first playthrough you'll finish it and it's going to leave you with so many questions, and then when you play the subsequent playthroughs, it's going to start peeling back the layers and it's going to start giving you more answers. So I did think that's more of a very bold choice that they did, because they kind of throw away like the linear progression and they kind of go into like this kind of more deep rooted narrative. I don't think I'm going to play this game twice, so I'll finish it and then I'll probably just kind of read up like online and see some of the pieces of the puzzle that I'm missing. But so far, honestly, I'm really enjoying the game. It is creepy, and like I told you guys, like play with headphones on. And again, you'll be scared, like just kind of going, turning in different corners because like something is there and something's gonna jump right at you.
I mean, the new game plus feature where like they are adding more content, it is refreshing because like then you compare it to games like Spider-Man, for instance, where it almost
Yeah.
feels lazy in the sense that you're only doing it for the achievement. But if you are doing new game plus, does it like yeah, you carry over some of your weapon stats or whatever you have, but like does that make the game easier, or does it like increase the difficulty? Like, because I'm wondering if the second or third or whatever playthroughs get easier and quicker as you're doing these to unlock more of the story or the content.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to answer that question, but I know based on like the puzzles, like I did read that the puzzles they do get more difficult, so I'm
Okay.
assuming that like the difficulty is cranked up a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's fun, honestly. If you guys are looking into playing something a little bit different, it's not an overly long game either.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely give it a shot. It's a lot of fun.
Does anyone else want to go next for what they're playing?
I've been
Ah,
playing Stellar Blade. I saw,
yes. How's your
yeah,
waifu?
uh, so I've been waiting for this game to go on sale, and I was debating to, whether or not I should pick it up on the PS5 or should put it on the PC, but then it was cheaper on
Mm.
Steam because of the recent sale. And I know the creator. I don't know. I don't know what his name is. I believe he's a Korean developer. But
If this
yeah,
was
apparently
another
he was.
episode of the Jeopardy where we have to name the creator, the Asian creator, you'd fail that question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently, this game was heavily inspired by Nier, and I very much see it from the music to very much like just. I think I'm about like halfway through the game. I'm like 25 hours in, and as the story is starting to unfold, I'm realizing it is very much taking the Nier approach. Not only with the combat, but like just like the lore behind like where the main protagonist comes from, what the state of humanity is. But yeah, this game is surprisingly really fun. It's essentially a Souls like, but simplified. I would say like it's the combat isn't that difficult. It's really straightforward. You have a gun and you have a sword. That's it. There aren't really the abilities you get are pretty straightforward. They each serve their own unique purpose. There's two parry mechanisms depending on like what the enemy glows. Like if it glows blue, for example, you do front parry and or front dodge, and your character does something. Similarly, if they glow purple, you do like a back parry or back dodge. Um, but man, yes, obviously the visuals in these games are amazing. Obviously, yes, the character looks good. Her outfits are all over the place. Um, this game is, I think, was originally designed as like a fashion first type game, and you can tell because your main character has a lot of different outfits, and a lot of them are like
And
sexy, but
assets.
yeah, but not only that, there's a lot of like interactables in the town you visit, like your main hub, that are purely there to act as a kind of photo shoot area. So you'll go to a bar, there's a quest, someone needs your help, but it's a pool table, and you're like, okay, can I play pool? No, you interact with it, and your character just poses. Like, okay, so I can tell who this game is for, but outside of that, this game is like I think it's worth playing. Apparently, it's not that long. I think it's like 40 hours. You can probably finish it. Um, the
What do you
music
mean not
though.
that long?
40
40
hours
hours.
is long, buddy.
Well, sorry. If you're playing the pace that I'm playing, it's like 40 hours to like finish it. But apparently, you can quickly finish a story in like 25 hours, which I
Is
think
there
is
any
relatively short.
utility to all these outfits? Do they have any modifiers
Nope,
or anything like that? Does it count as gear,
none.
or is it all just
Purely aesthetic.
basically
It's purely cosmetic. You explore the map, you'll see this like long tunnel that leads nowhere, and there's a boss there. You go there, there is a boss there. He'll kick the shit out of you. You spend like 20 minutes trying to fight this guy. All you get is an outfit. So yeah, the outfits don't do shit. It's just to please the player.
I feel,
Um,
I feel like the main pitch for this game must have just been like a bunch of guys in a boardroom, and this guy goes up. He's like, "Okay, hear me out. What
Yeah,
if Souls like, but titties?"
yeah, essentially.
Everyone just
T-
fucking flew into a rage and was like,
titties,
"Yes."
titties, but like everything about this, the way she climbed, the way Eve is the character of the game, climbs the ladder, goes down the ladder, her double jump, the way she climbs a rope, just everything. And
It's a
so
very
there are these
hyper sexualized game.
exactly there are these collectibles in the form of cans, and anytime you pick up a can, she poses with one.
So
um,
why are you playing this game?
because
Titties.
apparently, well, the actual reason is it's apparently it was inspired by Nier, and even Yoko Taro, the creator of Nier, went on to say like how good this game was. So I thought, okay, if a creator that I respect enjoys this game, let me check it out. And I have to admit, everything aside, the gameplay is fun, and but the music is what's hooking me. Like just the first area, the second area, I guess you explore after you visit the main hub. It's called the Wastelands. It's hands on. I think some of the best music I've ever seen. I've never heard in a video game.
Yeah, that's
Just the
surprising because
background
it's
music.
like it's out of like all the games we talk about. It's and like especially games for in music you love, like Nier. I know you love Expedition, obviously,
Mhm.
but it's like that one came almost as a shock because it's not what I would expect out of a game like this.
Neither did I. It's up there. I wouldn't say at the same peak as Nier because Nier holds a special place for me. Um, but it's really close, and I'm curious to see what other like I haven't finished the game yet. I think I have like a couple more areas to explore, so I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to seeing what they do with those areas. But yeah, it's legitimately a solid game. I think it's worth picking up. I can see why it didn't win Game of the Year. I think 2 years ago, it while the game is good, it's nowhere near Game of the Year worthy. Just because like some of the dialogue is like it's a bit awkward, cheesy. It doesn't really fit the character really. Like it's a bit like it feels forced.
Mm.
And the gameplay, while it is simple, isn't fully fleshed out. And so, but yeah, other than that, a solid recommendation I think so far. I'll talk about it more once I finish it.
Okay,
Or
has you
finish to it.
been
Sorry.
Or finish to it.
Christ?
That's what I
has,
thought you said, but I was like, wait, let me just.
has you been replaying Spider-Man Remastered?
Yeah, I went ahead and I installed Miles Morales because I was like, I kind of feel like playing it again. And then I finished that, and for some reason, well, not for some reason, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I was like, I kind of want to keep going. So then I figured I would check out Spider-Man Remastered. Um, and then this also gives me a chance to check out the DLC that I never actually got to play initially when that came out. I mean, it's Spider-Man, dude. I don't, there's not much for me to say there. It's still, I would say it still holds up, but it's like, of course it holds up. This game's only a few years old,
You're playing it on
but
PC now, right?
yeah,
Okay.
honestly, swinging through the city on an ultra wide
Oh, I was just about
with
to ask about
a
the ultra wide. Yeah,
with a modified like field of view is pretty fucking
yeah.
sublime, I
Mhm.
have to admit. And that travel, man, it is top of the line. Like to this day, I don't think there's a moment to moment sort of getting from one place to the next gameplay loop that is better than just this game's web swinging.
There's very few games where
Agreed.
you look at the traversal and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna fast travel. I'm just gonna swing around and
Yeah.
like make my way there casually.
I mean, basically, like there's just the fast travel is there. It's extremely quick. It's arguably better than Miles Morales is because there's literally no loading. You just choose a fast travel point and it loads up instantly. Whereas in Miles Morales, there's like a whole animation that plays because he takes the subway.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is fun, but it's
yeah.
just like after a while when you're using it, like okay, I've seen this animation like 20 times now. But no, man, honestly, the game is fantastic. I'm not crazy about the redesign of Spider-Man that they introduced in I guess a couple of years now. He kind of looks a bit more, Tom Holland esque. The
I
face
think
looks
that's
a
what
little
they
weird
were.
to me
That's what
still.
they were going for, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not crazy about that, but overall, I mean, this game is doing it, man. I think November is just generally like a weird time for me a little bit, and like this game was a good opportunity to just like shut my brain off and just play something that is familiar, I guess, comforting. I can just skip the cinematics. Story doesn't matter. I already know what happens. It's just all about the gameplay, and it's just so good that time honestly still flies when I play it. So definitely
Well,
gonna.
I was gonna say like I'm glad you mentioned it because like I also was looking to replay a single player game and Spider Man was like definitely on top of the list. I did actually start playing God of War Taz. I recommend if you're still in the mood to play a single player game on the ultra wide. Holy crap, God of War looks amazing on an ultra wide too. Like I feel like gaming
Yeah,
was
but
made for
Spider-Man. I
ultra wide.
mean, yes, but the other big thing with Spider-Man too, it's the tone, right? It's the right
Yeah,
tone of what I'm looking for right now.
something fun and light.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no, great. And then aside from that, I started playing a demo for this game called Beyond Words. The game's not out yet. I don't quite know when it's coming out. Um, this game is it's made by some of the devs that worked on Time Splitters and they worked on GoldenEye on the N64. So like some of the I think it's called Free Radical, the studio, if I'm not mistaken, is what it used to be called.
Zero zero
And
seven.
guys, they turned Scrabble into a roguelike, y'all.
Dude,
It's
everything is a roguelike, man.
it
Jesus.
is it yeah, yes, it's fun. It is just such fun playing this game. Because it's basically it is Scrabble. You know, you have your tiles, you're creating words that each tile has a score attributed to it. But then they throw in like fun things like you have these I guess things called stickers, which is just cards you unlock as you go on and you have to buy them every round after you're done each round. And they can be things like certain letters are worth more points or certain letters give you more modifiers, but then on the other hand, it's also, you know, to win each round, essentially, you have to, there's a certain score you have to attain within a certain number of moves. So you smartly pick your stickers based on kind of how you want to progress. The order that you put the stickers in and how when they activate will matter. So kind of like in Balatro when you have those jokers that come in and the
Mhm.
order that you use that you place the jokers to be used in does affect the score. Same concept here. Um, you know, so they have like that kind of a system for the stickers, and then they have like more sort of passive, I guess, abilities where, you know, one, let's say, is after every move you make, the tiles that are still left will be worth more points. So then basically the tiles that you haven't been using because there's no opportunity to or whatever, they're going to be worth the most points. So that's going to motivate you to try to find a way to use them because that's going to increase your score even further. The boards are dynamic, so they're not just a simple square board, but they're different kinds of boards with different power ups. So like, and you know, there's boss battles, um, lots of things to kind of keep it interesting. There's a bit of like a slay the spire aspect to it, where once you're done with a round, you can choose to either fight the boss or you can choose to try to play the level over again for a higher score to then get more coins to get more modifiers or you know get more stickers. Um, Obviously a big departure from what these guys are used to making. But I've been pretty hooked on this demo, and I think I might just pick up this game when it comes out. It's like the right sort of level of really fun, but also really challenging. And I mean, I'm a stickler for word games. I love them.
I was gonna
So
mention that. I was waiting for to catch a moment there, but like like you are the only person I know who's ever recommended me now 3 or 4 word typing games.
That's true. Yeah, there's a Warhammer one you recommended to me a couple weeks
There was
ago.
like a horror one as well, and there was like a
I mean, those were typing, so that's not the same concept, right? Because like it's a fun concept that kind of gets old quick, and then eventually you're hindered by your own physical ability to fucking type words. But
mhm.
with this, it's just, you know, each round, take your time, be tactical in what tiles you want to use, what letters you want to make. So, like, when you're any game where you're creating words based on letters that you are given, I love all that. So,
Okay.
this is scratching a lot of different itches in my brain. I've already put maybe 2, 3 hours into the demo, and I think this is probably going to be one of those titles that I pick up day one because it's just it's a very novel concept, and I mean I think you know at this point it's like it's kind of your initial reaction when I told you that they made Scrabble into a roguelike kind of informs I guess what gaming is becoming, where everything is becoming a roguelike, and I honestly kind of think that's awesome, and I'm just waiting, not waiting, but I'm looking forward to seeing how developers go and take other genres and turn them into
Yeah.
roguelikes as well because it always just seems to work. It seems to be a gameplay loop that works for at this point almost everything.
But it's
And I
also
mean,
how they introduce the gameplay loop, right? It's like what makes it so unique and like creative, which is what we love. Like Ball Pit, for instance, Balatro you mentioned as well. It's like those are games that took a relatively simple game and added such a complexity, but it's such a fun gameplay loop to it that we just keep coming back to it.
I was gonna say, and I wish Manny had talked about his game because this would have been a perfect segue. But what do you think of the use of generative AI in this game, Taz?
We can just skip my what we're
No, no,
playing
I'm
if you
no,
guys
not
no,
want
no,
I'm
no.
not
to.
sure there is generative AI in
There
this game.
actually, so no, so Steam now there's a section for each game now, which it's AI generated content disclosure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so it'll actually say, so the developers describe how their games use AI generated content like this. So they wrote that Gen AI was one of the many tools used by professional artists to assist in the creation of the artwork for the game.
I mean, look,
Anyways, it's
I
it's
think
interesting though.
it is interesting. I don't think it's gonna hinder me from playing it personally. I
Mm,
get that it does piss people off, and I think it's very much a contextual thing. I think it's different when, you know, a team of a handful of people with a very limited budget tend to wanna use it to try and improve on their product versus a billion-dollar company like, I guess, Microsoft, or in this case, Activision
mhm.
under Microsoft, who are using AI to generate this bullshit art to give you, like, player title cards and stuff like that in a Call of Duty video game when they clearly have the money to pay actual artists to go ahead and make some original shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. As I was going on Steam, I noticed that new section, and I'm going through the photos that are on Steam and some of the videos, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that this being Gen AI, but like it's like a small like card, like that's not even part of the gameplay loop or whatever. But, anyways,
Like, I get
I
it.
was
There's
just
someone
curious.
out there not being paid to create this art, and,
Yeah, yeah,
Gen AI
Um,
is more or less, to some degree, or whatever you wanna call it, theft, and, I'm aware of that, and I get it, but, if I had to choose between there being no Gen AI and not getting this game, or them using it, but I get to play this game, if it's like a team of a handful of people and, again, not some massive corporation that's doing this, laying off artists, saying, "Oh, well, we can get this generator now," then,
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
there's a
not
line
just
to be drawn because this
yeah.
this is not going anywhere.
I mean,
it's not
That's
just
it's
that. I
also.
mean,
Go ahead, Manu.
I was gonna say like there's a clear difference between generating art purely for the sake of selling it versus using generative AI as a mean of overcompensating for like your lack of resource. Like if you're a small indie team and you only excel at uh, the video game development and you don't have the resources to go looking for other artists, then I maybe using generative AI to fill those gaps is an acceptable use case.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I,
mean,
I guess we can dig deeper into it, I guess, later on as well. I mean, unless you wanted to completely skip over what you're playing, Manny, but I think that, you can definitely take that time.
I mean, like I've been replaying Stardew Valley because kind of like Taz playing Spider
Starting,
Man. It's kind of like a comfort game for me, especially around the holiday. It's just nice and relaxing. Um, and then I've been like playing. I've been installing a bunch of mods on it as well to kind of like further enhance the experience. Nothing like that cheats it. It's kind of more like there's a tool that you can look up anything in the game rather than always having to go on like the wiki, for instance. There's things that changes the entire texture of the game, so it's like more earthly. It's more like relaxing on the eyes. Um, Things like that quality of mods. And then the main game I've been playing, this was a almost a day one for me, was Dispatch. I think I might have briefly mentioned it in the past, but man, what a fucking fun experience that was. I didn't realize how much I missed Telltale games. The only other one I had played was Wolf Among Us. Not like you guys who have also played The Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like I get the whole point of the game is like focus on the narrative and the characters, but you love all the characters that you meet in this game from the very like first two episodes. That like it's almost like a shame because then I think of like how much time I spent on Borderlands and I didn't give a shit about any of the characters in comparison. And no, like it was such a fun experience. Like after every episode, I was always go online and look at what people were, what options people picked, and sometimes I would like feel like, oh, I kind of want to replay the game just to like go down these different avenues. But
is that
no,
game
yeah,
have all the episodes released now? Like, we're good?
yes, yeah.
can't wait to play it on your Steam account.
But it's
By all
season one
means,
though,
I
right?
highly recommend it. Sorry,
It was only season one technically, because
yeah.
all yeah. So which means they'll probably release a season two for it
Well, I
at some
mean,
point.
season two is up in the air at the moment because they
Oh,
weren't sure how the first season was going to be received, and I mean, especially considering its lengthy development history. But no, it's people love the game, and I think they sold over 1 million copies within the first couple of days. And so there people are genuinely, including myself, are excited for a season 2 or a second version of the game. Honestly, hats off to the creators, especially I got to say the voice acting was phenomenal, but the choice of music as well, it just fits so fucking well into the game that I found myself listening to some of the songs, and they like really found like random indie artists in the wild to. I'm not really sure if it was composed for the game, but like they took their songs and it just fit. Jazz, I highly recommend you give the game a shot because I think especially you'll love it. It There were times it felt like Marvel humor, I will say, but it's a game that doesn't take itself seriously, and so
Mhm.
in this context, it fit. It's not like it didn't feel like it was shoehorned in.
Yeah, I remember we spoke a little bit about it when the demo was out, right? And
Yeah,
I don't know if Taz you had played it, but no, I remember playing the demo and I really enjoyed it. I loved the humor. I thought it was great, and I thought it was like a different spin to like the superhero genre, right? So
yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it. Now that you are you done with it or are you
Yeah,
still
I did
okay?
2 playthroughs.
Wow.
It's relatively short. Yeah,
I mean, I remember playing the demo, and I remember thinking I would. This is a. I preferred watching the cutscenes and just experiencing the story
mm.
as opposed to the
Yeah.
actual playing of the game. I don't know if you feel the same way or if you actually eventually
The gameplay is
came to
not
enjoy.
hard by any means, so it's like I did find myself enjoying to watch more than I did playing. But the one benefit about like how you go about playing when you're like allocating your heroes to their missions, it's the banter that comes because of that. And who like sometimes if you pick specific characters to go on specific missions, the outcome and like their comments on that as well. That's kind of what I found myself looking forward to with those gameplay elements. But like, yeah, it was more of a second thought than anything to like an actual challenge by any means. And like, you can also decide to get rid of the click time events as well for like the narrative experience, and it doesn't affect your achievements or anything like that. So if you just wanted to sit back and watch, yeah, by all means.
I mean,
Cool.
does the gameplay add anything? I guess really. Like, would you have been just as content watching a run through of this game versus actually playing it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think so. But I
Mhm.
wanted to support the creators, so that's why I ended up buying it and actually
Fair.
playing it. So yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to
I guess we can,
the
since we
news for
did
today?
talk
The
about it, we can
news.
move on to the AI labels for games. So
The
basically,
news.
so
You
as
want
Oh,
Jazz mentioned, Steam has a label for made with AI for some of their titles, and so Tim Sweeney, he's the CEO of Epic. He went ahead on Twitter and argued that video game storefronts should completely ditch that label, and many players and developers kind of see this as a backwards for transparency. And it was mainly a topic I wanted to bring up to see how we all felt about this.
look, look. I think I'm sorry, and I love that. I'm pretty sure that Taz was the one that posted that discussion question that I'm not gonna read out loud.
I just
Yeah, but look, Tim Sweeney's argument is complete trash because I'll give you like another like analogy, I guess. Like saying that everyone is going to use AI so label is pointless is like imagine like a food producer telling you, "Oh, well, we use flavor additives and everything, so why even label the ingredients?" It's the exact same thing. The way I see it is like his argument is doesn't make sense. It's complete trash. Like it's about transparency and consumer expectation. Look, Manu made a really good argument, right? Like let's say for example you're two people developing a game and you just don't have like experience like as an artist, right? And you're on a time crunch or something and you can't afford to pay an artist or whatever. So fine, whatever, you use Gen AI for your game. If you disclose it, that's all good, it's fine, because I'm making the choice as a consumer whether if I want to give you that money or not, right? So whether it's a meal or a $70 game, you have a right to know how it was made, right?
yeah, it
Like
gives them the
it's
agency to
it's as
choose.
simple
And
as
like,
that. Yeah.
if you have any like ethical issues behind it, or like you think that like using AI kind of it's going to dilute the game in terms of quality, then you should be able to make that decision and not find out after you've made that purchase.
Like And I have a question for you guys. Like, let's say, for example, you look at a game, right? And it's a beautiful looking game. And then as you're playing it, you find out that, like, I don't know, 90% of its the aspects were like, sorry, visual assets were like scraped from the internet and they were stitched together and whatever. Like, would your appreciation for the game drop? Like, would you guys feel a little off about
Yeah.
appreciating
Because
what
you
you're
said it
playing?
yourself,
Or,
it was scraped off the internet. It took
yeah.
content from other creators, combined them, and then put it out there for
It,
sale, probably.
Yeah, I agree because to me it loses a little bit of its integrity, right? Like, anyways, that's all. Like I have all these discussions. Obviously, uh, with Catherine, who's like an artist and everything. So I've heard everything. I don't feel good about it, but I guess what I can say is that as long as they're being transparent, and me as a consumer, I can make the decision to support them or not.
I think transparency is always required, and I think
Yeah.
it being there versus not being there is not hurting you
Yeah.
in a sense. Because I mean, people value human creativity versus what AI is going to output, right? So if you're selling me this game, but then most of, let's say, your art assets or whatever, some of the development, I guess, depending on where AI is at the moment with game development, was made by an AI, I will value it less. Because to me, well, first off, the human touch is not there, and secondly, it's also a matter of all these studios are constantly charging you up the ass left and right for everything. And their reasoning is, well, game dev is so expensive these days that we need to charge, this amount or this much for these microtransactions or whatever to then make the money back into sort of justify making more content or another, a sequel or what have you. But then if you're not paying humans to do this and you just have AI now and you're laying people off left and right because you can get this done, then technically isn't this costing you less? And so therefore, why am I paying the same amount? So I think
Yeah.
that's one of my arguments for it is if the effort is lessened because you're using AI, then to me the monetary value is also lessened. I mean, I think it's going to get to a point where you're going to see the tag on Steam that says, AI was used. And then on the flip side, you're going to probably see some games starting to advertise the fact that no AI was used. And that's going to become a selling point now because again, people value human creativity. There's times where I have Spotify playing and I'll turn on that like magic shuffle feature or whatever that kind of throws in, random songs into that your playlist based on what you're listening to. And there's many moments where I'll kind of be like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good. Who is this artist?" And then I'll check them out, and then I'll find out, oh, it's all AI generated. Spotify has nothing that indicates that this artist is just AI,
I didn't know
right?
AI music was a thing.
Yes,
It's starting to
and
gain
it
traction.
is honestly insane. There are the covers of songs that you can make. I mean, hell, just earlier I was browsing and then I came across a 50s soul cover of Baby Shark generated by AI. And I know this sounds like okay, that's going to be funny. This was legitimately fantastic. It turned it into it didn't just go Baby Shark do 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 do. It went with, what a song of that type should sound like, and it
Hmm.
kinda had a different set of lyrics while also incorporating the Baby Shark lyrics. Guys, this was a fantastic song. And then there's other ones where there was, this one was really popular a couple weeks back. It was another, like, soul or something R&B cover of an Eminem song. I forget which one, but it was very, very good. And I was like, "Yo, I can definitely listen to this. Like, this is, very pleasing to the ear." And then the second I find out it's AI, I go on Spotify and I'm like, "Do not suggest this artist to me. I don't wanna listen to this. It's fantastic, and I love listening to it, but I will not listen to this because this is not there's no value in this for me whatsoever. This is not a real person that went through the effort to actually mix it, create it, think of it, you know, go through that whole process to then finally get to this product. This was just someone went onto some service, punched in, yo, make this version of an Eminem song. Maybe it's a little bit more effort than that. but it's definitely not as much effort as producing a real song. And so I
Yeah.
have no interest in listening to any of this, despite the fact that it is actually very good. And that
If
for the vast majority of people, and I'm talking like probably 90, 95%, you wouldn't even know it's AI. And then
if
now,
you're
and
a content creator who's like worried that because you're gonna release something on Steam or whatever and it's marked as AI, that you're worried that people are gonna like not buy your game or your song or whatever, and you're worried about that, maybe you should rethink why people are share that sentiment. Like,
I'm
I
just
mean, look, man, I don't,
worried.
AI is not going anywhere.
it's
Unfortunately,
not.
we've reached a point where I don't think this is a bubble. I don't think it's going to be as integrated into life as, we think. We're not going to be like fucking Ready Player One anytime soon or anything like that. But
It's
I
still
mean,
reaching a
yeah,
point where it needs to start getting regulated because
a
I think I was
hundred
just about
percent.
to
It needs
say.
to start being regulated in every way. I
Mhm.
think if I'm on Spotify and there's an AI artist, I need that artist page to clearly display this is AI. There's no person making this. This is just a machine. Um, yeah, man. I don't know. I uh I don't like where things are headed.
I do agree with Manu in terms of like the regulation. What I'm a little bit afraid of is I think that there's pressure within the industry now to start using it more and more, right? Like
Oh
I think
yeah.
a lot
Because
of
the
devs,
pressure
if
is
not, are
already
gonna put.
there.
Sorry, Manu.
The pressure is already everywhere. Like we see
Yeah,
Yeah,
it.
because
I
it's
don't know.
like the
I'm like Deepo.
hot
You see it in
thing.
your workplace. I see it in my
Yeah, I
workplace.
see my
Right.
managers bring it up all the time, but they don't really
hmm
understand what that means. To them, it's just a hot.
yeah.
Uh,
It's a topic of the week or the
that's
month or
it.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that like maybe it's gonna come to a point where it's gonna be so prevalent everywhere that we're gonna realize that maybe it's hot garbage and people will either stop using it.
Yeah.
But I think Taz is right. It's not. It's here to stay. It's not something that's like, oh, it's a fad or whatever. It's not like crypto or whatever. Like it's just, like I know, and we're gonna talk about the RAM like soon. But like I think that this is unfortunately something that's gonna be here to stay. So I think at the end of the day, Manu's completely right. Like I think that this needs to be regulated, and and this should have been regulated like yesterday.
Speaking of things that should be regulated, RAM prices. So, because that shit is soaring. So currently there is
Unsurprisingly.
a sorry.
No, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So currently there is a shortage of RAM and other memory storage components because kind of related to the AI conversation, actually,
Yeah.
because there's an expansion on AI data centers being built. So we're seeing the repercussions in the tech industry for um, really, literally just RAM or like other components that require that, such as like mainly RAM, but you kind of do see that in storage devices like SSDs, and you kind of also see it in GPUs as well.
Y- you know the
And
the the
so,
the biggest problem and like about all this is like because I remember reading two or three articles about this,
mhm.
and people kept talking about how like it's very similar to the GPU crisis with crypto, but I don't think that people really understand that. In my opinion, it's nothing like it. It's like an echo, like because with the crypto, you had crypto miners that were like buying out GPUs, which like doubled and tripled the prices of video cards. But with RAM, it's multi-billion-dollar companies like Google and Meta that are building these massive AI infrastructures. This is not going to die down. If anything, this is going to ramp up even more. So like I think that we're gonna get priced out very soon of the gaming industry. Like I have no idea, but like so when people say that this is exactly like the GPU crisis, I don't think that they really understand like just like the sheer size of this problem.
Well, I think it's more for a comparison because like we're still seeing the repercussions of the issues with the GPU because like in the like I recently built a computer and they're still overpriced as fuck from that time because like once they go up they don't really tend to go down. So once
Of course not. Once the companies realize that people are willing to pay these prices, why would Nvidia ever lower
Well,
that's
the
it.
there you
price of their
go.
video? The only time they'll lower it is if it stops selling. And if it's still selling, then there's no reason for them to lower it. Same thing with the
Yeah.
RAM. These prices you're seeing now, and then as they're going up, get used to it. These are going to be the new norm, you know? And this is going to have repercussions. Not only are the regular people going to be priced out of it if they want to go ahead and build a new rig or just buy a RAM for their computer for the sake of buying RAM, but things like home consoles. There's already rumors that Xbox is going to be increasing the price of the Xbox for the third time this year due to the RAM shortage because they don't have a overabundance of RAM. Sony supposedly does, so they're relatively safe for the time being from this. Nintendo, same thing. They stocked up on the RAM. They have a lot of Switch 2s in stock. Uh, Microsoft, not so much, and so that's going to affect them. And then let's not forget with Valve now with the Steam Deck, not the Steam Deck,
Steam Machine.
the Steam machines coming out. They haven't even announced the pricing for that. Who knows what the stock levels of that are even looking like?
Yeah,
And
because
so
it's
this is
not
gonna,
even just the price of the console. It's like we could fully expect just a delay in production.
well, it could be a delay in production due to the fact that they can't get enough RAM, and it can be them in anticipation of what's to come, even if they have stock at the moment, increasing the price to avoid a price increase down the line. This is gonna go ahead and affect that. It's gonna affect the price of all the consoles in the coming generation, the PS6 and whatever Xbox has cooking up. These are gonna be. It's gonna be an extremely expensive console generation.
I
Yeah.
think I wonder if this is gonna like push people more into like cloud gaming. Just because like let's say for example, like if you can't afford, because Taz is right? Like I mean, this isn't just a PC problem anymore, right? Like this is a console problem too, because like if Microsoft is considering, raising up the prices for a third time, and as Taz mentioned, the PS6 and the future consoles and whatnot, like I feel like we're getting priced out. So I wonder if people are going to be going more towards like cloud gaming or just out of the high end hardware market altogether.
I
Like
mean,
and
this could also maybe even push towards kind of like lower end indie games, like games that don't require much in terms of hardware, or even like games focusing more on mobile. Because like you don't exactly need a super strong device
Yeah,
to play mobile games.
yeah,
I think the AAA gaming space is probably going to be hit the hardest by this
Hmm.
down the line when it catches up. But the
To
fact
be
that I
fair,
can,
we've seen AAA games in general kind of take a left and right the last couple of years, especially with the how the state of the gaming industry is.
well, right now, look, man, indies are killing it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you don't need a top of the line rig to run things like Ball Pit,
hmm
Dispatch, whatever. Nothing else coming to me off the top of my head, but like these are games that came out this year. Hades 2, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then the other thing too is people are continuously still playing Fortnite, Roblox, these games that have just been out for, a decade plus now that don't require the latest and greatest of rigs. The computer that I have now that I built, at the moment, I'm lucky that I kind of built it before all this shit went down. I think we all
yeah, no
did, really.
kidding. Yeah.
And so we should be good for the next while, especially with AAA gaming. But when that time comes where this thing starts to chug, it might be the first time where I kind of don't bother looking into something else. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can just stick with emulators and playing quote unquote in older games or just whatever indie titles there are because at this point there's a lot of fun to be had with just those. And yeah, I'll be missing out on those epic God of War, Uncharted, Spider-Man type experiences, but is that 20-30 hours worth the money that is now being expected of me to pay to experience it? I don't think so.
Funny enough, the because of the unavailability of DDR5 and the price increase of it as well, DDR4 apparently is getting harder and harder to find because people are buying out whatever is left.
uh,
Uh, yeah, it's
Everything sucks, man. Everything
yeah.
honestly is just on fucking fire. I
what
can't
a
even
depressing episode.
I can't even go to McDonald's and just eat a regular meal for a decent price anymore, let alone continue to enjoy a hobby that I love because once something becomes popular, it becomes a source of a lot of money for a lot of companies, and at that point, just let the shitification begin and nickel and dime everyone left, right, and fucking center.
But this
Speaking,
is also. I'm just gonna sorry, just go back a bit. This is also a bit different from the GPU crisis as well,
Mhm.
because during the GPU crisis, it was not just companies buying out a lot of GPUs; it was also people buying out GPUs so they can do their own cryptocurrency mining. This is very much big companies
Mhm.
buying out just crap ton of RAM, which is causing Like,
Well, I
uh,
think what was I forget the exact percentage, but I know that OpenAI is building a new data center. I'm not quite sure
mhm.
where for ChatGPT, and I think that this data center they were gonna use up, I think, like some crazy percentage of the world's production of RAM.
Yeah, I it's also funny because a lot of people that bought the GPUs for actually nowadays they're buying it for AI. Funny enough, for artificial intelligence, because that's really what you use if you're developing like new models. It's really GPUs because that you want to use a VRAM on that. Um, People a lot of companies will tell their investors or shareholders that yes, they need to spend this much money on buying GPUs, and it'll last them like 8, 9, 10 years, when in reality the GPUs only last like 2 years
Yeah.
because how fast like Nvidia is dropping like new GPUs with new better, I guess, better hardware specifically designed for artificial intelligence. And so yeah, I think we're reaching a point where it's not just going to be RAM but also like just GPU.
Holy Yeah, Taz,
It's going to be
do you have the
So this is it.
percentage, Taz?
So at the beginning of October 2025, OpenAI announced a new partnership with Samsung and SK Hynix, the two largest memory suppliers. The partnership, part of AI's Stargate initiative, will see OpenAI securing 900,000 DRAM wafers per month, or 40% of the global DRAM
Oh my
output.
god. Yeah, that's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
I'm
That's
so
crazy.
glad I built my PC this year. I don't have to worry about it for the next five, hopefully 6, 7 years.
It should last you like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about
And this
30,000
is
GPUs.
fucking RAM, guys. RAM used to just cost like whatever. If you wanted to upgrade RAM, like it wasn't even a
One of the
thought. It
cheapest
was like,
components
yeah,
of it.
whatever.
Yeah.
It'll cost me 100 odd for like 32 gigs or something like that. And now you're gonna have to like fucking refinance your entire existence so you can get 32 gigs of RAM in your next rig. What
Jesus
other
Christ.
depressing news do we have? Oh, look, the Destiny 3 is in development.
Oh, guys, come on,
Uh,
man. Where's the excitement for Destiny 3?
there is no
Um,
excitement.
There is none. What are
no,
you talking about?
I'm still hopeful. So basically, yeah, there was a leak by a known data miner called Colony Deeks who claimed that Destiny 3 is in extremely early development. They've known about the project for a while now, but they decided to speak up now because it was kind of like other people were announcing it. And so, I mean, just not much to say about that. It's just really just Destiny 3 is in the works. I guess it's now that the game's really in the shitter and we've seen at its lowest player count since Curse of Osiris, like the beginning of D2. I'm interested in you guys. What do you think? Like, do you guys
Is,
think that like Destiny 3 needs to happen? Do you think like Bungie could
Is
save the franchise?
is
Or
Curse of Osiris the last expansion that Manu played?
yeah, that was
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's actually quite poetic. Manny, I know you have Destiny tattooed in you on you. Sorry,
in you.
And
in
you.
you. But yes, on you. I played Destiny 2 obviously during the pandemic with you guys, or with the
Mhm.
crew. Every single day, right? We log in on Discord. I still miss those days. Honestly, I feel like we need a new pandemic, but I'm not gonna put it out there. But all I have to say is, like, I don't think that they can salvage Destiny 2. I don't think so. So I think that if they were to make a Destiny 3, it's not necessarily an admission that the current game is too broken to fix,
Mhm.
but you have to admit that Destiny 2 today has become impenetrable for new and returning players. Like, I want to go back. I paid $5 for the final shape, and I still can't get around to playing it because it's just I opened the game and it's it's like a system that's layered on top of older abandoned systems, and then they try to like fix the game by introducing new tedious grinds
and
and
removing gold
and
content.
removing old content. And to to be honest with you, like, it frustrates older players, it frustrates the veterans, and then it frustrates the new players because they still have no idea what's going on. So
Yeah,
I think that it's more of an organizational issue.
yeah.
And if Destiny 3 is real, I don't. I mean, is it going to take what, 5 years, 6 years, maybe even
Yeah, like
more?
it's if it's early development, we're probably not going to see anything for this game for at least 5 to 6 years.
I
I mean,
I think that, yeah.
I can only hope that whoever's in charge of this project and of Destiny 2, they all sat down in a boardroom one day and they just had the biggest fucking postmortem from Destiny 2
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
learn whatever they could possibly learn. Because at this point, I mean, I agree with Josh. This game is absolutely fucking impenetrable.
yeah.
Like, you
I'm
could study this from a military perspective and use it on the fucking battlefield if you wanted to.
Christ.
Like, it's just
I mean,
unbelievable. There's so
where the
many
game
times
is,
where I kind of feel like playing it again because from a
yeah,
gameplay perspective, this game is absolutely not broken
Yeah,
from a
it's.
gameplay perspective. It's
Hmm.
broken from literally everything else. You just
yeah.
it's like I don't even know how to fucking describe this. It's just sort of it's like this beautiful garden in the middle of a sea of shit and you can never get to it because you just have to go through so much.
Even
And
from the community point of view, like the Renegades expansion that came out the day we're recording this,
oh,
is
that's
there's a
out?
lot. Yeah, today,
Jesus
uh, there's
Christ.
a
I
lot riding on it,
marketing.
just because of the fact that like whereas Bungie has been trying to control the negative sentiment around the game, they've been trying to work on it. So like they've been trying to appease the core audience of Destiny, like the people that just come back every day to play it. It's they haven't done much to attract new players because, as you
Dude, the
said, it's
fact that
hard.
this came out today and that I had absolutely no idea
Hmm.
is not a good
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah,
And when Manny, you were talking about it initially, I thought that it was coming soon. I didn't know that it was actually released today.
I've been
So
watching streamers. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm getting the game just because if I'm picking up Guild Wars, I'm not sure if I can feasibly play those two games at the
If
same
you're
time.
not getting Destiny, then it's
I
doomed.
want to, but I'm playing Stardew right now
The
and Guild
Sony no.
Wars.
yeah, seriously,
No.
poor
But
Sony.
like, so I mean, there is um positive feedback to the expansion, given it's only been a day. So we're gonna see in the coming weeks how it evolves. But as you mentioned, Sony, so there's also that to take into account as well,
Yeah.
because there was that investment from acquisition, I guess we can call it, from Sony,
Acquisition, yeah.
yeah, of Bungie, and so they failed to kind of meet their
Financial
financial
goals.
goals,
Well, no
and so
shit.
who would have thought? And so there is kind of a sentiment where fans are kind of worried because if they're kind of failing to meet that goal, financial goal, then we could see Sony kind of growing in control of Bungie, and then more people are worried that it's going to lead to a kind of microtransaction slash like pay to win focus Destiny.
Honestly, I feel like they should just lay off a bunch of people and use AI. I mean, that's probably going to work
Mhm.
out well.
But
But no,
just
I mean,
as.
look, just Destiny 3 is absolutely the right call. 2
Yes,
is I feel like 2 is just too far gone and it just there's such a bad aura around that game now. I think with 3 what they need to do is just it has to be like a fresh start. I
that's
think,
it.
different solar system somewhere in the universe. I don't know, just different timeline, different something, but it's
If
just
it's a
like
time skip, whatever. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter. It needs to be an absolute fresh start. I think from not only a lore perspective, but just absolutely systems and characters and just fucking everything about this game. Just make it more accessible. Obviously, give the hardcore crowd something to attain whenever in like the 30 minutes once the game is out and they've reached max level and they want more fucking shit to do, like whatever, give them something, but definitely just avoid the pitfalls, avoid the mistakes of Destiny 2.
yeah.
Don't put like 1,000 different currencies, 100 different
Look,
systems.
I will say Destiny 2 had its great expansions in years. Like Forsaken was phenomenal. Final Shape was phenomenal as well. Excuse me. And then there was other expansions like I'm blanking out what the one that introduced Strand. There was hits and misses with that, but
Mhm.
like Destiny has had good moments throughout the years, especially Destiny 1 as well. Like love the first 3 years of that. And so there is a sentiment with everyone here, including that, like we want to see that IP thrive. We want to see it um, come back from the ashes. But one thing to also mention is Bungie also laid off a bunch of their staff over the last couple of months. So like, how do we think that's going to affect development for Destiny 3?
Well, proves the point that I don't. I mean, it's in pre-development or whatever, as
Yeah.
you mentioned. I mean, I think it's gonna be like just years and years. Uh, that we're not gonna see this game, and this to me it also means that we're gonna maybe start seeing less and less content for Destiny 2. But
Well, they're
just
kind of focusing more of the mini expansions, kind
yeah,
of like
well,
what Guild Wars is doing, and then they're doing as well. So it's like instead of doing one big expansion, smaller, more contained content. It
well,
seems to be, yeah, seems to
I'm
be
I'm kind
being
of
received
I'm
well.
curious because Manu, like you had played Destiny, you got burnt by Destiny 2, and then you refused to come back, right? And then when we were talking about possibly like what would make you come back, and you said that like, well, if they were to make a third game, right, then maybe I would consider it. So knowing that this is possibly a thing, like what would take for you to come back and give this game a chance? Like what does Bungie and or Sony need to show you for you to be like, you know what? I'm gonna give them my money. I'm gonna give this game a fair shot.
I I'll have to say like Bungie does their gameplay really well. I think that is one of the most redeeming factor of playing like not redeeming, I don't know, but like it's one of the most satisfying factor of playing a Destiny game is the gameplay, the gun. It's smooth. So yes, if Destiny 3 comes out, I will definitely give it a go. Because for me, if I'm playing a game, I want I want to enjoy it from the scratch. Like if the base game leaves me
Satisfied.
wanting more and like
Hmm.
not satisfied, then I don't have any drive to play the later ones. Because it's the same as when people recommend me books and like, oh no, get past the two first books and the third one gets better. No, I want something coherent all the way. But that's
Hmm.
just me. So I mean, if Destiny 3 comes out, I will definitely give it a go. I'll give it a first shot, and if it's good, then I'll keep playing.
Oh, that's it.
But
Everyone's gonna give it a go because I
I
think the
yeah,
think
biggest
so.
thing, I think the biggest draw for Destiny 3, aside from it being a new game and whatever, is if it's the third game, everyone starts on it's a level playing field for everyone.
mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Everyone's starting from the beginning. And I think that alone is going to be a big draw versus Destiny 2, where not only is the game unapproachable, but then you have, people that are basically there's all these gear metas already in place and all this shit and they just don't want to deal with. And it's kind of like whenever a new game comes out that's competitive or, PvE, the community at the start is always awesome because everyone's still figuring things out together.
Yeah.
And so that alone will be a good draw for it. Whether this game is actually going to be any good, whether they choose to make it a paid premium, I guess, experience, if that's what you want to call it, or whether it's going to be free to play, full of microtransactions. I mean, they have a long road ahead of them. It's going to be a very, very big uphill battle, but I
And
mean,
you can tell that they're starting to pull a straw though, because now they're starting to make a lot of crossovers with Star Wars being one of them. And didn't they also have another one, or am I
No, Star Wars
misremembering?
the only
No.
one, but like there's
Okay.
I don't know, like myself included, like there's a lot of people who feel like we don't want to see these crossovers being the gimmick for every expansion. It's cool that they got to work in tangent with Lucasfilms to develop this expansion, and you do see a lot of the inspirations of Star Wars in this universe, and it fits well because like last thing we wanted was a Star Wars game with Destiny elements. We kind of got the opposite of that, which is like the best case scenario. And so it's nice to do it every once in a while and to see the community happy to jump into a new expansion instead of dreading it. So I think this small win, especially, is what players needed, and they seem to be getting it with Renegades.
You know what community is getting tired of seeing crossover events? Magic.
Oh, yeah. So
Hey.
this
usually we
this
weren't.
is where I just mentally bow out.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say.
usually
All
we
right,
wouldn't
take it
like
away, boys.
talk about Magic, but it's like okay, I'm super casually into it, but my brother, well, Manu's like really. You were playing
I
Commander 2 or 3 times a week now.
so I can take this, but it's not okay. So I just want to preface by saying I'm not a Magic nerd, I would say, because I've only been playing for a couple months when Edge of Eternity released, so I'm still relatively new to, I guess, Magic the Gathering. And just to give you guys a little bit of background, throughout the year, Magic has regular sets that they come out with. You have in-universe sets, so the sets that involve IPs that are within the Magic, the Gathering lore, and you also have nowadays sets that are universes beyond this. So the last one that really took off was Final Fantasy. You had Spider-Man recently that flopped, and now you have Avatar, which kind of is bringing it back
Yeah,
up.
and we're getting
Next year, you could have
TMNT, we're getting Star
TMNT,
Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
You also have a lot of in universe stuff that a lot of people are excited for. Edge of Eternity, that with that release, I think in August, did really well. A lot of people are excited for that. Just left.
I was just
Uh,
like, fuck it, I'm out.
uh, Lowering Eclipse on January, but in between these sets, Magic releases these things called. It just been yawning. Things called
I'm into this, man. Don't worry about it.
uh,
Just look at me.
Magic releases things called secret layers, and it's a way for them to take a lot of different IPs, um, like SpongeBob, for example, or Walking Dead, and
They
make
even
like
had one where like God of War and Horizon, which are like
Furbies.
really cool art cards.
Yeah, even horror Furbies, the some that I bought, are they'll make like these small little drops where like 6 to 12 cards, and they'll release them for people to buy. It's not a huge set; it's just like a fun flavor. Typically, with those sets, Magic will work hand in hand, no hand in hand, but they work closely with the company to design cards that fans will want to buy. So, for example, the God of War set that came out, I bought it because there were some really cool cards. Not the cards weren't just reprints. There were some unique cards. Like I picked up Atreus and Kratos, and they were a pair commander, and their mechanic were very similar to what you would expect in the game. It's the mechanics all about killing gods and getting experience, which is all about Atreus. Of he grows into an immature brat to someone who's shouldering the weight of being a god. Those themes played really well in both their cards. So recently, Magic announced a new Secret Lair with Monster Hunter, and you can tell that they put barely any effort into
Yeah.
these cards. They
You
were
you think of
just
you think of Magic, sorry to interrupt, and you think of dragons. I'm like, that's the perfect fucking crossover because you see that are already in Magic. There are plenty of dragon cards. There are plenty of cards that kind of fit that theme.
Yeah, but I feel like I heard the same, criticism for even the Spider-Man pack, right,
yeah,
that came
Yeah.
yeah.
out. So to me, like, this is crossover fatigue. Like, they know that these cards are a money printing machine, so it kind of feels like they're not putting in their full efforts. It's just
There is definitely
uninspired.
there is definitely a fatigue because we've seen so many secret layers being dropped left and right. Almost I feel like every month at this point.
Dude, but like
Um,
I,
Yeah.
I, I fe- but I feel like that there are more crossover cards than actual Magic the Gathering like cards.
There are more next year. There will be more universes beyond sets, I believe, than within universe,
yeah.
which is really saying to the degree of what the direction the Wizard of the Coast is heading with this.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're becoming the Fortnite of trading cards.
But just to talk about just going back a bit to Monster Hunter, I just want to talk about the kind of quote unquote the mistakes people are about. Like I looked at this, I'm a huge fan of Monster Hunter, as you guys know, but I saw this and I went,
Yeah,
eh, because there were no unique cards. Everything was a reprint. So, and not only that, but none of the reprints were really worth anything. Like, there was no, outside of the flavor text and the theme, there wasn't much incentive to get this. Not only that, they made mistakes. There were, I believe, 2 cards had a mistake. One of them was just the wrong name of the village, and I believe there's one of the monsters as well. It was actually some of the arts on each of the monsters were just poorly designed.
yeah. So
Not
one
only
thing I
that,
want to
when
touch
you
upon the value you mentioned of the cards. Like, so when Secret Layers gets reprinted, it's the same card as it exists, but they'll just have a different art to it, something that fits the theme, and they'll say underneath the main title what the original title of the card is. And certain players, if let's say if it's a $40 card, well now you can re-buy it in a drop that contains other cards for that price. So it's like kind of more bang for your value,
back
whatever,
for your
like
buck.
bang for your buck, exactly. And so none of
But
these
it's not.
cards are exciting. None of them
It's
are
not that
worth it.
though. A lot of circulars will have unique cards, like going back to Kratos and Atreus, or
Mhm.
even the Furby ones. I believe some of them were unique. They're all reprints. Not only that, when you think of Monster Hunter, you think of equipment, right? You think of armor or weapons. No equipments. None of the cards really made sense. Like Zenogre, who's I believe he's an Elder Beast, but he's all about lightning. He's a reprint of a wolf called Sarf or something, and he's a realm eater. His ability makes no sense with who he is as a monster. Magic the Gathering is all into dragons and dinosaurs, which is the core of Monster Hunter. So this, like, that's one of the reasons Final Fantasy did really well. Final Fantasy, in the setting of Magic the Gathering, inherently makes sense because it's all about magic and creatures. Spider-Man did not, right? Because who wants to buy a card with a bagel and play it in a deck with dinosaurs? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Avatar does because you have firebending, earthbending.
Yeah,
The
like for the
the
Avatar set,
fictional
they
realm makes
introduced new
sense.
bending mechanics, and they really made a lot of cards supporting that, and it's its own fun mechanic within this existing TCG.
So Monster Hunter would have fit really well within the Magic like universe, but they just blew it. And so November was, I think, the month where they released the most secret drops, secret lair drops. You had Sony, you had Iron Maiden, Furbies, like so be Sony being like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Last of
Iron
Us.
Maiden, the fucking band, has a
Yeah,
secret lair drop.
it's Avatar as well. It's just
Yeah,
people are exhausted, and you throw in a half-ass secret lair. People
yeah.
complain.
I,
But
I
honestly, kudos for Wizard to even being like, "Hey, we fucked up. This sucks. We'll go back to the drawing board, and we'll give you something better next year."
yeah, I don't know if this is the first time, but I think this is
This is the first time.
unprecedented by their standards. Yeah,
But I feel like Manny just hit the nail on the head. Initially, Manny, you said that this is becoming like the Fortnite of,
Yeah,
trading
yeah.
cards. And this is what it is. And that's why, I have even less of an interest in this because,
Well, I
you
mean, like
know,
Magic is the trading card game. It is the OG trading card game. So it's like I can understand them eventually running out of ideas or something along
yeah,
those
but
lines.
when next year you're going to be releasing other like non Magic the Gathering lore. Like there's gonna be more stuff outside Magic the Gathering than them actually expanding on the lore that they have. To me, that is a big issue. And to me, again, at the end of the day, I'm like, they just want to print money and
yeah,
these
one hundred
suckers are gonna
percent.
buy these cards, and that's it.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's also like you could tell that this was kind of direction they were heading because they stopped making a lot of outside content expanding on the like there's less books, there's less comic books, there's less just podcast about it, there's just less content to
Which,
digest about the universe. And
as someone who's like
and
starting to dabble into Magic, I didn't know it had so much lore
mhm.
in this universe because I just thought it was a
Hmm.
trading card game and that's it.
A lot of it is also to try to get people into the game as well. And they're it's not yeah, you're 100% right, they're just trying to pay money, but at the same time they're also trying to get people into it. Like I, for the longest time, said I will not get into Magic, I will spend all my money, it's as expensive as cocaine. And then they dropped Final Fantasy, and I said, "Who do I pay?" And now I'm in. I think that's they're
No, and
trying to expand how many
They're trying to
people
appeal. Here's the thing:
appeal. Yes,
they're trying to literally appeal to the Fortnite generation. This is the
yes,
same, the younger, I guess, gamers, whatever they are, Gen Alpha, Gen whatever the fuck they're called. They're not buying games. They're all playing Fortnite. Like literally, that is a big issue in the gaming industry, and everyone's trying to figure out how the fuck do you get these kids to spend money on something other than V-Bucks. And so, I guess Magic's answer is, well, let's just be the Fortnite of our our domain, and then maybe that'll entice them. If they're into whatever Final Fantasy. I mean, hell, at this point, you're gonna have a fucking 6-7 card coming out at some
well,
point.
I think
Like, it's
there's something
just
to consider that, which is like even in the like, I guess you guys are not very familiar with the TCG scene, but like right now we're seeing an increased number of new games coming out. So we've had One Piece, we have Gundam, you have the standards for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. There's Lorcana as well. I've been
Riftbound.
personally dabbling with. There's Universes, which is like mainly anime themed, and so we're seeing more and more games come out. Even League of Legends have their Riftbound game that's doing really well as well. So we're seeing so many new trading cards pop up doing well. And so Magic solutions to this, and especially like it's such an old game, a lot of people are going to look at this and being like, well, it's probably really hard to get into is considering its vast history. How do we appease to new audience? Well, we're going to get very captivating IPs. So Manu mentioned Final Fantasy, that got him into it. I remember we went to Ottawa and I was like, we were in the shopping mall and we were walking and talking. I think within an hour or two, I convinced him to buy a deck of Y'shtola, and I ended up picking up Cloud. And so like when Avatar was announced, well, I'm like, fuck, I guess I'm casually getting into Magic as well. So it's like
But are you
It's
getting into it because you enjoy playing the game, or are you getting into it because, oh, I like Avatar, and so
both,
I
both,
want these cards? But you're not
100% both,
actually.
because it's like it takes the interest to get into it, to start looking it up and realize, hey, it's actually not as daunting and complicated as it seems. And especially now, if you consider how many formats Magic has, and there's some that are more cater towards casual gameplay, and like one of the most popular formats is called Commander, and that anyone can just pick up, and it's all easier to get to compared to their standard, which they has cards and rotations of like every 2 years or something, which that can be more expensive. And
So
so
standard, yeah, standard. The rotation is every 2 years. Commander, you have any card from existence. There's a few bans. There's like a couple cards that are banned, but like you can literally use any card. So it's
yeah.
more approachable for new players. Commander can also play up to 4 players. But to answer your question, I think a lot of it is also like I'm in a position where I'm surrounded by a lot of people that want to play. Even at work, I will
Yeah.
play like twice a week at work, and I'll play twice a week at like 2 different game stores. So I'm essentially playing 2 to 4 times a week. It's not like Pokemon or anything. I'm not. It's not just about collecting the cards. It's about literally coming out with these like fun decks. You can get like really creative with them, and then playing with other people, I guess. And yeah, and that's what I'm actually doing.
Taz, maybe you'll get into it when the TMNT set comes out. We'll see.
Ah, man.
I'm willing to bet that's never gonna happen.
Like if they ever, if I'm guessing there is some sort of a digital variant of this game where you can try out whatever
Yeah,
commander decks. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll check that out. But
there is a
realistically, you
there
guys
is a
know
free to
me.
play version.
I'm not an intellectual in the sense that I can play this game and actually figure out strategies or make a good deck. Like I just
You
don't.
got to give yourself a bit more
I don't
time.
have it in me to do that.
So if there are a lot of social pods like low casual, like sorry, super casual, where you just buy a like a pre-constructed deck, and you play with that, and it's totally acceptable. Like
Yeah.
people just do that. You won't have a lot of people
I
that
don't want to
will
play
sort
this
of
game as a
metagame.
dirty casual. I'm kidding.
So this game introduces different. The last thing I want to mention about this before we move on to the next topic, because I know we're really fighting to keep your guys' attention on this. So Commanders
All
has like
zero
different.
people.
The Commander has like different levels of like how you rate your deck, and so when you buy a pre-constructed, it's automatically level 2, and so most people play around level 2 or 3. So it's like, I mean, because when you go to 4 and 5, that gets very competitive. But like, if you like, I'm thinking about signing up to an event for like a local game store, and they rent out a bar, and it's like up to like 48 people or something. And when you're signing up, you have to specify what the rank your deck is, and you get matched up with people like that. So it's like you're coming in with the expectations you're going to play with people with that same mindset, with that same skill level of wanting to kind of get out of what you're looking for as well. So if you want something competitive, you can sign up for a competitive level. But if you want something more casual, you can get that experience as well.
It's okay, Taz. We'll get you the TMNT deck. We'll buy a precon. And we'll all play.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, I'm
Taz,
not going to refuse it if you buy it for me. I just can't promise you that I'm going to play it. I might just
Taz,
like that. I might just have the cards because they have nice art.
Taz
Good
will
dude,
get
man.
you a Team NT deck. Jazz will get you a space deck. Edge of Eternities probably has a free precons. And
Cool.
no comments.
We spent a lot of time on Magic the Gathering, man.
Yeah, seriously, man.
That was like
Speaking of
not
time,
even
Prince of
20 minutes.
Persia, Sands of Time.
Oh, what
Oh,
a
This
segue.
guy. This guy.
This guy.
Uh,
Transitions.
so, I was wondering if you're going to use the echo at point today.
you did.
So yeah, there was an early kind of. It looked like it was a focus group screenings of sorts to show off with the Ubisoft's working on Sands of Time, and I'm not sure if you guys ended up seeing the video. I'm assuming everyone here has. Please
I
tell me.
literally had no idea
All
what
right.
the fuck you were talking about when I
Yeah.
read the rundown. I was like, "What are you? What this happened?"
Yeah,
There was a
And let me tell
video.
you this: my barometer for this game was like this, right? Let me straighten out my hand here. This was the barometer level of my interest in this game. And then when I read your news and I remembered that this game actually existed, this was my barometer level then. So as
It
you can
shifted. I
see,
saw it.
it did not
I didn't see shit.
fucking move. I This game takes up 0% in my brain at any given point. I The original trilogy is great, especially the original Sands of Time.
Mhm.
I know that they had the trailer come out a couple of years ago for the remake made by I think Ubisoft's India team. I forget which one specifically. And then that got kind of received poorly, and I guess and they brought it in house, and I don't know if it's in Montreal now or Toronto. It's being developed, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's the fact that I don't really care much for Ubisoft as a company anymore. That it's hard to get excited for anything that they come out with. I mean, you guys know how much I've been going on about wanting a another Splinter Cell, and just today there was a story where the game director that was m- directing the remake and then left a while back has now rejoined the team, and that their work is underway on the Splinter Cell remake or sequel or whatever it is. And I looked at it and honestly, like, didn't even move the needle then either, because I just don't have faith in Ubisoft anymore. I'm sure this game will be good.
You know they make
It's
up for a
not,
lot
I
of that,
know,
right?
but yeah, man, I don't know. I just think with all this news about the company, like whether it's starting with, I guess, the allegations of what was happening at the actual studios, which was really fucked up, and then just this whole thing with like their partnership with the Saudis now, and now they're canceling the further DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm not into it. If this game comes out and it's great, cool, but my interest level is like non-existent.
Yeah, I enjoyed the original trilogy, but no part of me was like, you know what? I really want a remake of Prince of Persia.
It's senseless, honestly.
Yeah,
I
I
guess I'm
Who
enjoyed it a
asked
guilty
for
long
because I
this?
was like,
time.
oh, a remake of Prince of Persia. I'm excited to play this, but
I mean,
um,
hey, go play Lost Crown. That game was fun.
it's a very different game compared to the OG Prince of Persia. Though, whereas that was a platformer, this is more of a Metroidvania,
I mean, you know
and
what
we're
the
not going to
other,
see a sequel for Lost Crown
but
anyways.
you know what the other big deterrent is for anything Ubisoft comes out with is the fact that I don't want to use UPlay.
Yeah.
You know, I would have happily paid a sale price right now to play AC Shadows or even reinstall Renegade, not Renegades. What's it called? That Star Wars Outlaws, and maybe give that another go after all the updates that they released for it. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, I don't want to deal with UPlay as a piece of fucking software. Like, I don't. It's not on the same level as Microsoft Teams, but it's definitely not something that I want to even open.
So I
So
guess you
I
don't
guess
trust Ubisoft to make a good Prince of Persia, even a remake at that point.
I don't
I
look.
think
I'm
it's
sure a lot of
more the
people are
so
excited for it.
goodwill.
This is
Hmm.
just
so
personally not a game that I really care for. That said, once it's out and we see the gameplay and the reviews kick in, I'm sure it'll be a fun game to play. But it's another one of those. I'll wait till it goes on sale and then maybe I'll play it. But
so to spin it around though, Deepu, like since like clearly you're the one who's excited for it, I guess why are you so why are you what makes you so excited about this?
I think
Because
I just genuinely enjoy platformers.
Just
Like
replay it. Just
I
replay
could, I
the
could, I
trilogy.
definitely could. But like, I think I'm also excited with the notion of seeing what Prince of Persia could look in today's kind of ecosystem, like in terms of like technical advancements. Because like from what we saw from the screening, it's like it almost looked like there's a heavier focus on platforming and like as you're traversing the city. So like I'm always kind of open to the idea of like you have full access to the city instead of it being instance based, and so that kind of gives you the opportunity to do a lot of exploration, try to find like uh complete different challenges, what have you. And so, from that perspective, I was personally kind of hopeful it could be good. Keep in mind, this is a very, very, very early demo of what they're working on. So it's there's nothing concise about what it could end up looking, or even if it might even get canceled. Who knows? But
I don't think it'll get
hopefully,
canceled. I mean, they've put way too much work into this. It's gonna come out, but I think I would have just rathered a new Prince of Persia than
Hmm.
a remake of an older title.
well, so it's a remake, but it's they're calling it a remake, but it's kind of like a retelling. It's like the same characters, but the re-inspired, um, and they look different too. It's just like it's gonna not exactly follow the same narrative.
Let me go look this up and see what this looks like.
It would have been great if you guys did your homework and looked at it before the podcast.
I looked at
I
it.
didn't care.
It didn't
I have
move the
a
needle.
fucking life to live outside of this, and I've been busy.
It
My
was funny
bro,
seeing some of the comments because we're like, it's Prince of India. He doesn't look like he's Arabian. He looks more like he's Indian.
I ready for the new
Yeah.
Metroid. Speaking of Metroidvania,
Are you going to pick up Metroid 4?
yes, I think most likely as soon as I finish whatever games I'll have lined up.
All right, guys, go buy magic cards. Waste your money on
Hey,
that. Don't send us an
hey.
email.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
done asking.
don't send
I'm
Taz a
done
TMNT
asking.
deck.
Absolutely don't send me a TMNT deck. Do not do that under any circumstance.
You guys can watch our lovely faces at notquiethighscore.com or YouTube/notquiethighscore. You guys can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. You guys can talk to Taz on our Blue Sky account, NQHS podcast. Or is it not quite? I always forget. Or you can send us also, or not send us an email at notquiethighscore@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.
By
Peace.
absolutely nobody.